What companies/people are on your shit list? Ticketmaster. They're so ducking shitty. Tons of ghost convenience fees. And now apparently they've changed their policy to not offer refunds for postponed events. I wonder what's happening in the world right now that would cause them to do that. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. And now apparently they've changed their policy to not offer refunds for postponed events. And now they're on my shit list too. Thanks for the info. You can get your credit card co. to do a chargeback if you are one of the unlucky people ducked over by this new policy. Sports Direct. They are a sports clothing brand in the UK. They tried to stay open while this pandemic was going on even though they are a non-essential service. They only shut down because of the backlash. I will not be shopping at a store that was willing to put workers and the general public at risk for money. Next did exactly the same to their warehouse employees. Refused to shut down. Closed break rooms. Forcing staff to eat their lunches in the street. Told staff that any time off would be taken from holiday entitlement or unpaid. Shut down when an employee leaked everything to a local newspaper. Refused to pay employees the government mandated furlough wages. Pressured staff to return to work before an all clear has been given. Offered furlough payments after employee once again leaked to local newspapers. Furlough will only be paid from 01/06/2020, meaning employees will have gone about 6 weeks without wages. There's not enough money to pay staff on furlough, apparently, so employees are being pressured to return to work immediately. So yeah. Duck Next. Source, now former employee of Askreddit, despite being told otherwise by management. Next do not in fact own Sports Direct. No. Sports Direct is owned by Mike Ashley. It is not owned by Next. In fact it is now owned by the Fraser Group, which includes House of Fraser, Sports Direct, Slazenger and Game, which are all owned by Mike Ashley. Next has nothing to do with them. Intuit. Makers of TurboTax. Almost single-handedly responsible for lobbying and preventing the government from having their own simple and free tax filing option online. For anyone in Canada, I'm going to take this opportunity to give a shout out to Simple Tax. They survive off donations and it's literally the easiest thing you can imagine. Make a CRA account. Go to the Simple Tax website. Select autofill my return. And Simple Tax will automatically, after you confirm it's okay with the CRA, about a 10-second process, fill in your income, tax deductions, EI filings, everything the CRA has on record. Obviously it's on you to double check you have everything. And things like Childcare receipts/some investments incomes the CRA won't have electronic copies of. But still, amazingly simple. I've used it for the last 5 to 6 years, and filing for both my wife and I, with children, takes about half an hour. Studio Tax does the same. Any company who is taking government stimulus money, while at the same time either dodging corporate taxes using overseas locations, or ignoring the fact that the last time they were bailed out, they used the money to buy back shares. My friend's company purposely laid people off and furloughed people so the company would qualify for a SBA they are giving out due to COVID-19. Edit. A word. IDK about them. But as a low-income employee the layoff is safer and pays better than staying on. For me it has to be the British pub chain Wetherspoons. I've always had a vendetta against them, as they generally don't treat their staff well as the Grim beer. I've heard they buy beer near their expiry date, hence why it is so cheap. Over the years, I only reluctantly went into Wetherspoons. Pathetic as it sounds, but that's where everybody wanted to go for a drink. What finally sealed the nail in the coffin for me was the chairman Tim Martin refusing to pay independent beer suppliers, even though those same suppliers have been delivering beer to his pubs. Tim Martin is worth $438 million according to the Sunday Times. So it's not like he's short of money. One supplier even went on record to say that they had never been treated like that by any pub chain before. He was also reluctant to go on record he would pay his staff once the pubs and restaurants reopen in the UK. I'm not giving Wetherspoons a single penny. I will be supporting my local independent cafe/pub, as I was doing before the pandemic. Yes, the prices are much higher in there, but it is worth every penny. The owner pays his staff a proper wage. And what's more, the beer and food tastes good and fresh. Plus it is a damn awesome place too, and has so much more character. Tim Martin's Brexit propaganda was bad enough to live through. The way he's treated his staff since COVID has really sealed the deal for a lot of us to boycott spoons. As you say, I'd rather pay more than double for a pint at my local pub than set foot in one of his establishments again. Of course. I just hope we can all collectively boycott Wetherspoons once normal life resumes and show that horrid man something. Nestle. I once saw a comment they made saying that water wasn't public property. Duck them. That's not even counting all of the mothers in third world countries that they provided just enough baby formula for their breasts to dry up, then expected these already poor families to spend the exorbitant prices of the formula to be able to feed their babies. Most ISPs, they provide what amounts to basically an essential service in today's day and age, and can basically get away with murder when it comes to pricing and exclusivity. I wish I could do this. I literally have 2 options for internet: Spectrum, Time Warner, or AT. That's it. If I want internet, I have to pay one of them. So I do. That's one more option than most people. For me, it used to be Comcast or nothing. And you better believe they loaded up the fees and add-ons. I once had them charge me for a PPV boxing match. When I complained, they said that someone must have ordered it, although they couldn't tell me who, when, or provide any documentation or evidence. Then they basically told me to piss off. I'd rather have anybody than Comcast. Facebook. At Nestle. At Fear still trying to bill me $1,800 for 2 phones that I never bought or received. I've never even had a plan with them. I met 2 people who cancelled their service with AT&T, returned every piece of equipment AT&T had given them for their cable service, phone, landline, whatever else, and still 1 year later, that company is hounding them and threatening to sue for the $2,000 worth of equipment they claimed the couple never returned. They were constantly calling AT&T, going into the physical store and clearing things up, upon which AT&T would go, "Oh, our bad. We do actually have it on record that you returned it." And then a month later they'd receive another letter demanding that $2,000 and they'd go through it all over again. My husband and I also cancelled our service, paid our final bill of over $100, and we also get letter every once in a while demanding we pay the final bill. No amount of calling and trying to clear it up helps, so we just ignore the letters now. ADT Security. They took major advantage of my declining mother, and after she died they tried to come after me for equipment costs, threatening to report uncollected balances to my credit. I had to hire a lawyer to tell them to duck off before they finally stopped. Sprint. Bought phones outright, so we didn't have to pay extra on the bill for them. Fast forward a month and we are billed for phone rental. Call customer service and are told that we in fact didn't pay for the phones, and they wouldn't even believe we owned them when confronted with a receipt and the goddamn manager of the local store where we bought them. That's right. They did not believe their own employees. We cancelled as soon as we were able and told them to sue us if they thought we owed them money. Spoiler alert, year and a half later, they still haven't sued. Never again. Any company that used child slavery and palm oil without consequence. Looking at you, Hershey's. Nestle. Right now Ruth's Chris link. gq.com/story/Ruth's Chris Small Business Steakhouse should be on everyone's shit list. Ruth's Chris was already on my shit list just because of the confusing name, but I just added Shake Shack too. It makes me irrationally angry. I mean, who the duck owns the joint? Ruth or Chris? Or is Chris just a slave owned by Ruth? I know I've read the Wikipedia and that it was originally a chain of Chris steakhouses bought out by a person named Ruth. But these are still the things that run through my mind and more when confronted with an advertisement or the sign that just fails to comply with proper English. Televangelists and prosperity gospel preachers. God loves me. That's why I'm so rich. Send me all your money, and God will love you more. All you have is $1. I'll take that too. One of those shitfields is asking people to donate their entire stimulus check to him and his friends. If there's a hell, they're going to it. Guy at work and I were howling when we heard about Kenneth Copeland blowing, literally, the wind of God at COVID-19. Comcast/Xfinity. F that noise. Ironically, I've never had a bad experience the few times they were the only option for internet. But they will never not be hated by me. Duxfinity. They only allow you to have internet if you pay for their plan. That includes cable TV. I don't watch cable and never have. We still had to pay for the boxes though. They decided one day that the boxes they gave were out of date and needed to be changed. An employee came to change the boxes and took them with him. We get a bill a couple months later for $1,700. We called and they told us they have missing equipment and refused to turn our internet back on until we pay it. Totally. A simple cable box that cost us $100 in total that they were going to throw away anyways. Cost $1,700. Duxfinity. They only allow you to have internet if you pay for their plan. That includes cable TV. I don't watch cable and never have. This is what pisses me off about them. I just want internet. No, I do not want cable. No, I do not want phone service. I want internet. Okay. Internet only, which is super throttled for about 2/3 the price of internet with cable that I don't even watch. But for a little more I can get both and higher speed internet. Damn it. Bath and Body Works. I worked there as a seasonal temp a few years ago, and I will never be purchase their stuff again. I was miserable working there. It was the worst retail job I've ever had. Every girlfriend I've had would go there when we'd visit the mall. That place gives me a massive headache from all the scents. Instead of being a reasonable person and simply telling them of my issues, I'd usually just embarrass them so much that they'd make me wait outside the store while they shopped. I'm realizing now that I may be single because of my own stupid choices. You should try being less of an idiot. I hear communication is important in relationships. A Mexican restaurant in my town that charges for salsa. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.